Hi, this is Chuck Martin, Austin, Texas. And I've got with me today Lauren Loera from Technical Recruiting Research and Netflix. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank
So,
you for having
so
me.
you just came right off a panel.
I did.
Tell me about that.
It was great. We talked about how AI is impacting the job market, more in like a twofold way on both the job seeker side and the company side, and how we're utilizing more AI recruiting tools in our practices and what kind of biases those leads to.
So you know recruiting traditionally.
Yes.
Tell me about it traditionally versus with the new technology.
So traditionally, it's a very people-oriented role. We not only are identifying those that can do the hard skills for the job, but also the soft skills for the job. So when we think about translating that into more of an AI practice, there's a lot of the personal aspect that's taken out of that. And so traditionally, we have more of like a soft skill type of interview where we work to see if this person will meet the company culture, if they're collaborative, if they're engaging, but with taking AI more in a step into that stage of the process, it's going to be more of like a hard skill interview where can this person code, can this person physically perform the job. So it's definitely a shift, but we're learning how to use AI more as a tool and being conductors of AI versus allowing that to replace us in the job market.
So what is AI analyzing? The application?
Yes, it'll analyze the application, really dig in to see if they meet the qualifying factors for the job description. It's a lot of like keyword matching, and then there, the next step would be to answer qualifying questions. Have you ever? What will you do? Those types of questions.
So is there danger of the applicant on the other side using technology to game the system?
Yes and no. I feel like there is equally a disadvantage as there is an advantage. So, an advantage would be they are able to kind of remove themselves from the interview. A lot of people have like interview fatigue after being in the job market for so long. They're not showing up at their best 100% of the time. But when they're working with AI, they may just simply input an answer and just being able to transcribe their answer versus having to meet someone person in person. Soft skills are a really hard skill to carry into an interview, and a
Yeah.
lot of people psych themselves out because of that. But when you put more of like a motorized or automated factor into it, they may seem a little more relaxed in being able to share their stories. The disadvantage is those that are great interviewers who come and show up at their best selves, being able to describe stories in more detail or allow a probing question to really open themselves up. There is going to be the disadvantage of not being able to do so. So there's still a lot to learn with it and trying to find the perfect balance. When you're speaking human to human, you understand that there needs to be balance, but when you're talking to more of an automated machine, there may be some silos in that.
So do the recruiters, your colleagues, and you must know a lot of colleagues in
Yeah.
the recruiting, do they like this?
When it comes to sourcing, which is us like hunting, we're using AI to really help formulate more like sourcing strategies, which helps with efficiencies for us. But when it comes down to more of the interview practices and seeing those be automated, that's where it kind of hurts us a little bit because we do like to be advocates for candidates. And if we are kind of removing ourselves from that and just feeding a pipeline, it hurts our ability to be able to inspire more perspective and diversity for those moving into the pipeline.
So do your recruiting, because you're a large company,
Yes.
obviously the large companies, you have to do a lot of automatic screening of resumes.
Yes.
Are you worried about bias at all? The obvious question to that?
I am personally because I am more of an inclusion champion. So I take more into context versus what the person has done as in their experience in the industry. And I take more perspective of like what kind of background do they have? Like what are those non-traditional factors that we can utilize that will benefit the way that we're building global products. So with that, there allows for room of just advocating for more like perspective and wanting to speak to the hiring manager about more of a way that we can like grow talent and foster talent versus bringing in like rock stars and all stars, because most historically like the diversity pool is very depressing, just given the sense that historically we've seen more people run through college that are white cis male, of course. And so when we see people come from untraditional backgrounds that have learned the skill set that we need, we are able to advocate for them. But if they're just submitting a resume, a lot of the time that is going to get filtered out. So that's what I'm worried about.
So a year from now, we're sitting here talking about talking about recruiting. What would we be talking about?
A year from now, I think it would be more of what AI skills people need to bring to the table. There is an advantage of those people who are in the tech industry now that are being introduced to AI in their day-to-day work. So they're gaining that skill set. There is a lot of people who are breaking into tech that still don't understand it well enough to have a skill set to put on their resume. So the people who are in tech are going to continuously be in tech, and it's going to be a lot harder to break in without that skill set. So I think in a year from now, we need to talk about how to like teach those that are not already in tech more about AI.
Well, I look forward to that conversation.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.